Hello and welcome to the Calumet Wilderness with Sam Love. I am your host, Sam Love, and once again, we're in the suburbs. Stick around. If you look over here, banquet hall, back there, box stores. That made me dizzy. Big homes over there. And I'm on this little trail that I'm not actually sure where it goes. Ultimately, it connects with the Teibel Nature Preserve, which is just around the corner, down the street a little bit. And this area is completely surrounded by development. So it's this little oasis around development. So let's go check it out. So I'm on the northeast corner of this preserve. It's kind of oddly shaped. And what I want to try to do is see if this trail here connects to the southwest corner of this parcel. Pretty muddy, some standing water out here, but we'll see where it goes. What I find so spectacular about this preserve is that, it's just surrounded by all this development and congestion. I mean, even when you get in here, the first thing you kind of notice, the mid-story is really congested, phragmites everywhere, but you don't have to walk too far in and just get that feeling of lightness, and that just stress level goes down, enjoyment goes up. There are so many birds. Probably can hear the peepers peeping. Maybe some chorus frogs in there as well. This is really their time of year. This feels a lot bigger than what it is. So very commendable to Sherrville. It's Sherrville for non-region viewers. But I tend to say Sherrillville, which is completely incorrect because I'm from Merrillville, which everybody pronounces Maryville except for me. I think when I lived in Chicago, I picked up the L's. Beautiful. Not necessarily the prettiest time of year to be out here. I saw a few pictures from the summer. It's gorgeous flowers around the Deer Creek parking area, but can always come back. One of the greatest things about living in the Calumet region, in my opinion, is that it just looks so different as the year progresses, as the season progresses. So places can't get too familiar to you because in a few months they look very different. And that's something I've always appreciated about this region. All right, the gravel trail ends. So now it's just a little dirty foot trail through. We'll see where it goes. Ultimately, I'm going to come upon the two ditches. Although the master plan did say there was an idea of adding a bridge, I'm not sure if there is one or not, so we'll see. I feel like I'm pretty far from civilization right now. Lots of birch trees out here. This is a very important tree, good medicine there. Well, this is Sherrville Ditch, and its confluence with Dyer Ditch is just a bit up here. No bridge, and not going to jump it, so we'll just have to backtrack. There's a strange find. Wheat in a box. Well, I'm over on the Deer Creek Road area now. It's a nice parking lot, paved trail, or not a paved trail, but gravel trail. Just saw a very large bird land in the marsh beyond those phragmites. Into the marsh, I guess. I don't think that's the footbridge they were talking about in the master plan. All right, we found the confluence. So this is Dyer Ditch over here, which was named for the family of Aaron Hart's wife. And then behind me is Schererville Ditch, which was named after the Scherer family, who were one of the first settlers out here. Oh, made it to the other side, just had to start from the other end. So it really is like two parks, not quite connected, but yeah, this will be really amazing when they get that bridge in. When, not if, when, my friends, get that bridge in. So I'm gonna take this paralleling the Schererville ditch here, and I'm gonna hope it goes back to the parking lot so I can make a loop. Well, this land was donated by the Teibel family in 2008. Now that's the name that's familiar to anybody who lives in this part of the region. Of course, Teibel's a famous restaurant at the intersection of Route 30 and Route 41. In 2011, a master plan was released by the Schererville Parks and Recreation. Real interesting, I'll link it below. And some of the key findings in here. Well, first, their ecological consultants found 5 different ecological communities in this small parcel. It's about 80 acres. So to have 5 distinct areas, that's pretty impressive. You've got the open aquatic areas. There's the pond behind the banquet hall. And these 2 other ponds were mitigation projects. So, you know, when they destroy a native wetland, they dig a hole in the ground and they call that a wetland. You've got 2 different types of prairie, a wet prairie and then a mesic prairie. Mesic is in between a wet and a dry. You've got marshland and then this woodland community here. I opened up iHappy last night just to get a historical sense of what this land was like throughout the middle part of the 20th century. So if you look at 1939, you can see it's just flat. It just looks like a field here. You can't really make too many distinguishing natural characteristics. You can see the ditches, Schererville Ditch running diagonal and Dyer Ditch running north-south there. Also on this 1939 map, you can see the EJ&E Railroad, another landmark. And you can see also in the upper corner, the images don't line up too well. Not much of a distraction though. So if we move on to 1954, you notice, first of all, really good image, real sharp. You can see trees in the upper northeast corner. 1958, a little darker image, but you can see that the tree area has expanded, especially to the south. 1965, you see a rectangle, so I'm guessing that was farmed right up to those ditches. And our last image from iHappy, 1973, it appears that the area around the railroad tracks starts to get wet. You just see that non-linear shape there. I'm assuming that means wetlands were starting to develop. But you can see overall the area is very rural, even up to the, third quarter of the 20th century. I gotta move, there's a red-winged blackbird ahead of me, and those are angry birds. Nature is ruining my shot. Quiet on the set. Oh shit, that worked. Nah, it didn't work. Nobody listens to me. Well, hopefully these Phragmites can get eradicated. Give everybody a nice, clear, open view of the water. Maybe get some wet prairie growing on the edges instead of this Phragmites monoculture. See, like the smaller birds, like the red-winged blackbirds, like the Phragmites, they kind of hang out and make noise at you, but you get more biodiversity in plants, you're going to get more biodiversity in animal and insect life out here. Plus, it's just prettier to look at, the water, This trail has a lot of Erie adventure potential to it. May have to come back in 6 months. Can you believe it? We're all half a year. We're halfway to Erie Adventure Time. I feel like I just made those videos. There's also a series of pipelines running underneath the ground here, which will keep it from being developed. That's a nice amenity they got here. You know, sort of this edge land between different communities, Cherville and Dyer, highways and railroads. Yeah, get that footbridge in, get some of these phragmites around the water gone, and you'll have an even higher quality amenity. The other important thing about this parcel here, it's in between Plum Creek Preserve, just over the state line. Just half a mile to the northeast of where we're at right now. You've got the Pennsy Greenway, you've got the Hartsdale area just beyond the Hoosier Prairie. So this is smack dab in the middle of a lot of important natural areas, and taking care of this creates a greenway that benefits not just human beings, but also animals, birds, insects, plants, and all the rest. All the other things we're supposed to share the planet with. Yeah, figures the sun comes out now that I'm done